Now, today's guest on the bench with Jenna and Jon is somebody I've wanted to get on ever since he came over back in, why are you laughing, 2022. Initially was only meant to be here for 2 years. How many years later? Guess what, everybody? John Wilkin.
Paul Vaughan.
Paul Vaughan.
Paul
Vaughanie.
Vaughan.
Good
Welcome,
to be here.
all the way from
Privilege.
Shell Harbour.
From Shell Harbour, yeah.
Where's Shell Harbour?
Near Gerringong. The
Where's
Gong.
Gerringong?
Yeah,
Near
about
Nowra.
45 minutes south of Sydney.
Nice.
Beautiful spot.
It's
Similar
stunning.
to Stockneath.
Beachy.
Beachy, yeah, beach village. Yeah.
Right, so-
yeah, no, it's beautiful. Good spot.
Yeah, you miss it?
No,
No,
I love it here. No, a little
You're
bit.
quite fond of the beach, yeah?
Yeah, no, a little bit. We got back there last year, so it was nice to sort of go back and see
Was
everyone.
that the
and-
first time you went back?
Yeah,
since
it was. Yeah, we hadn't been back for 2 years. So
Oh, that's a long stint.
Yeah, so it was nice to sort of
Yeah.
see everyone and get back in the water. It was really nice. Yep.
So you, as I kind of touched on, you came over 2022, 2-year contract. You
Yep.
said to your wife at the time it would only be 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll get on to the future at some point in this podcast,
Yep.
but just so it's, 2025, you're still here in Warrington. Harry
Yeah.
Ward Jones Stadium, you're home.
Yeah, can't get enough of it. So initially told the wife that it would be a 2-year trip.
Easy sell.
With the little kids. With the hint of a lot of travel, it
Yeah.
was an easier sell. And then we extended for another year, and we're sort of looking to see what's going to happen for the last year.
Right.
So there's a last year. There's a last year, is there?
cryptic.
I'm 34. I just turned 34, so
Great
what's
for
that got to do with
34.
I'm just saying, I feel great. you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
I feel great.
you
I'm
look
great, look
I
great.
look great. Yeah, thanks.
I look great.
Thanks, mate. So we'll see what happens. Not too sure. We're sort of trying to work through something at the
It
moment.
feels like a sales pitch, that, doesn't it? He's gone on
If anything-
34.
I was
Who wants
actually
to
one
fall?
of my guilty, not guilties. We'll get onto that shortly. So let's not dive too deep into...
Yeah, let's not go too deep into that. Can I go to something a bit lighter before we start?
Always.
So pre-match, there's
Here we
lots
go.
of people have routines, don't they? Several superstitions. People do
We've
certain
spoken
things.
about your one on this podcast, in fact.
Yes.
He doesn't even know what it
Remind
is.
me, what was it?
What was it?
He walks out onto the pitch.
Oh, yeah, I want to go for a stroll.
Yeah,
With
with the
headphones
headphones on, and
Yeah,
you do
yeah.
some weird sort of visualization, dancing
I'll
thing.
just go down to the dead ball area where I sort of, receive
Catch
the
the
ball
ball.
and just, visualise a couple of things.
Do you? Does it-
What things?
Just getting smashed, basically. The first contact.
on!
And see if I can
It's just
make
got
it a positive one.
full just imagine getting smashed by loads of big men. Loving it.
Yeah.
Loving it. But no, it wasn't that. It was another thing.
Right.
What it was is everyone has different toilet habits, don't they? Pre-game.
Yep.
Yeah. And you two bond upon a very special encounter.
Oh, I haven't
say
spoken about this.
No, well, let's speak about it now.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah,
going to
what
paint the
better
picture.
place?
I'm going to paint the picture. So Jenna uses one of the, I think it's a drug testing room.
It is a drug testing
Drug
room.
testing
It's
room
my-
is a
it's my
changing
room.
room.
Yeah,
It's a
it's
changing
quiet,
room.
it's very quiet.
Changing room. Paul, safe to say you didn't know that was the case.
No, I didn't. I think I ate something that didn't really agree with my stomach before the game, and sort of came in half time, and I was like, I really need to go to
So
the
you
toilet.
went to what you thought was a private toilet.
Yeah, and I think I left the door open, didn't I, Jenna? You poor
What do you mean
thing.
you think you left the door open?
Well, it was all in the
Definitely
heat of the
ajar.
battle. Like just come off the pitch.
Yeah.
Everything was, moving pretty fast and happening pretty quick. So I was sort of
Fast and loose.
Yeah, fast and loose. So I sat down on the toilet and left the door open, and then Jenna came in and she was just mortified.
I know
Her screams were.
It's a crude story anyway.
It was terrible. I felt so sorry for you, Dad.
Can we talk about what point in the transaction was it? Were you mid-transaction? Was the transaction
John!
completed?
Yeah, I think it was pre. I think it was pre, but I
I
sort of.
don't think it was.
Might have been in the middle of it. I don't know. Like I said, it all happened so fast, and I heard this shriek, this of
happened-
terror.
Oh, no.
And the screams were, I think, heard all through the stadium.
It's just not a noise you want to hear, is it?
No, it's not
in the
great.
middle of
Exactly,
your
yeah.
ablutions.
Yeah.
Ah!
So, from my point of view, I use that room.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
And I keep my bag in there, and I go in and I have water in there and stuff. And
Yeah.
it must have been half time. It was at
It
half
was, yeah, it
time.
was.
It was
Yeah, it
half
was.
time.
Yep.
So I've snuck in there, gone, just didn't even knock, just walked in. Because
that was
I
your
just
problem. You
didn't
should have
think- I mean, you should have closed the door or locked it,
There's
maybe.
two big problems. One is Jenna's lack of understanding that might be used by somebody else.
Yeah.
The fact that she was thinking, that's my change room.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the
yeah.
first problem.
Yep.
Second problem is, what
Close
sort
the
of
door.
animal are you? Close the toilet door, especially if
I'm pretty open and free, mate. Yeah.
Is this at home?
Everywhere, mate. Really. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What
And I know, well, the boys, before the games, the toilets aren't too clean. pre-game.
So you thought you'd go and
I thought I'd go somewhere else.
soil the drug tester's toilet.
Yeah, I looked at it, I was like, that's nice and clean. So I'll sort of
going
make
around.
myself at
You know
home.
what, Paul Vaughan, that is now officially your room. I don't know if I've
Yeah,
been
thanks.
back in there. And if I have, it's like a real loud knock, knock, knock. Anybody in there?
Yeah,
Anybody
yeah,
in
yeah.
there? Clear, clear. Okay.
I apologise.
You'll have to be really
Anyway.
worried if he's in there again. You know what I mean?
I should just close the door. Next time I'll just close the door.
But it's a lesson learned for everyone.
Yep.
Close the door.
Yeah.
Just close the door, Paul.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
Yeah,
Good,
yeah,
good,
moving on.
good
Well,
moving.
Another source of I think something that's interested me this year
You're
about
really
Paul.
owning this
No,
podcast, Jon.
because he's
Who
really
leads this?
no, he's really
Is it you that leads
Paul's got like a magnetic personality, right? Super positive.
Always positive.
Incredibly friendly.
Yes.
And so I find myself watching you.
Yep.
But unhealthily, like I'll observe you more than maybe other people because I like you. I think you're a good, cool guy.
Yeah.
And I'm watching you.
Appreciate
One thing
that.
I've noticed is the size of your shorts, right? And when
You
it
know-
comes to the size of your shorts,
Yes, yeah.
they're naturally small for a man
Well,
your
they're double
size.
XL. I've just got a big, big backside and big.
Well, I got a pair. So I asked your kit man for a
Did
pair.
Pete give you those?
Yeah.
He's a rascal.
These
Pistol
are Paul
Pete.
Vaughan shorts. Now, if we could just hold them.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Hold them
for
up if you
those
step
listening
right
and not
there.
They're actually
watching,
perfect.
Exactly.
they to me look like a child's
Are they
pair
kids?
of
Paul, you
Warrington
keep
I
them.
Wolves
reckon my
shorts.
daughter will be able to fit in those.
You keep them.
Oh,
You can
well,
play in them next
Thanks.
time.
Tiny shorts. Do you find them comfortable?
My shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I move pretty freely in them.
Are they
so
the biggest that you can get?
They're double XL.
Double
yeah,
XL,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So they're quite big, but unless you want, if you want me to go up, I'll go up. I just get a lot of comments from the old ladies in the crowd, and they like them.
I like them. No, I
They
think
got a
everybody likes
lot of
them.
wolf whistles and
Yeah,
all
there's
that
a lot
kind
of
of stuff.
consoles that are visible.
So
which
yeah,
is
I'll
great.
just I'll keep
Yeah,
keep
but
them
on a serious
But
point,
thanks for that.
on
That's
a,
great.
just as a serious point,
Yes.
like you're in great shape physically. You said you're 34.
Say
Like
that again.
physical preparation, like you have to take that seriously.
Yeah, well, yeah. I've always been pretty, pretty on my preparation and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff throughout the week. I like to get certain things done. So yeah, whether that be in the gym or doing extra fitness and all that kind of stuff, I try and do it. So prepares me for the game, and if I get to the game knowing that I've done everything, then I'm pretty confident in that I can put a good performance out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, great, excellent. So how would you say that you're performing at the minute? Like obviously Warrington, it's a touchy subject,
Yeah.
isn't it? You're probably not where you want to be.
Yep.
I get it, there's injuries. You're injured, hence why you're on the podcast. Calf injury, how bad is it? When will you be back?
Yeah, it's a bit of a tough time at the moment, to be honest. We've probably got, maybe I was looking at the physio board today with all the injuries, and it's probably about half the team out, to be honest. But we've got good depth. Obviously we're not where we want to be at the moment in the league, in the cup. We're obviously in the final, so we've got something to look forward to there. But it's been testing. Yeah, it has. It's sort of, test character and all that kind of stuff. But we're confident in the boys that we have that come through. And for me, I strained my calf in the last 5 minutes last week, so I was filthy about that. I just felt it sort of, grab a little bit, and I sort of tried to get off the field there.
Yeah.
Obviously, with the thought of Wembley coming up, so there's 2 small tears in there. I want to play next week. But
You want to play
I
next
want to
week?
play next week.
Right. Why?
Just so I can have a bit of a run-in
Yeah.
into the cup. Again, that's just me trying to prepare,
Yeah.
and trying to get confidence in my head that I'll be okay, fitness-wise and all that kind of stuff. It's just how I think. But if I was...
You say you want to play, but does
I
that mean
want-
will you play?
Well, we'll see what they say, the physio.
But you
team,
will
all
be
that.
at Wembley. You will be playing at Wembley.
Oh, yeah, I'll be
Okay.
there. Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't sort of, it's a 3-week injury. Obviously, this is the first week, so
Yeah.
see how we go.
And on the form this year then, so obviously it's been a bit of a tricky year, loads of injuries. Last year when Sam came in, there was a really big impact, as in it was super positive. Everybody was, I'd say, flowing in a good direction.
Yep.
Safe to say it's not gone quite that way this year. How's Sam's coaching been in that situation as opposed to when everything was moving in the right direction? Has there been any change?
I think the thing with Sam is he's just he's a calm sort of voice as well when things are a little bit erratic and things get a little bit, like I said, just erratic. He's a real nice, calm voice that sort of gives the boys a lot of confidence too.
Yeah.
So, obviously it was quite smooth sailing last year. We're winning a lot of games, and I wouldn't say it was easy, but it was, like I said, a little bit more smooth sailing. This year's been a little bit more testing, but he's been great. He hasn't really lost his head, and I think we're just confident in the structures that we have within the team and how we play. And when we get those boys back, I'm sure it's a long season. We're only a third of the way done. third of the way through. So once we get the boys back, we'll be okay.
Yeah,
we'll be right.
So on our podcast, we've got a few segments that we're going to get through. First one is called Guilty, Not Guilty.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've told you about this one, actually. Basically, we're going to give you a statement. You're going to say whether it's guilty, not guilty.
Okay.
I'll go first.
Yes, sure, please do.
Paul Vaughan loves a solarium.
Not guilty.
What?
Not
Why are you
guilty.
looking at
So,
me?
hang on, no, not guilty.
Why are you
Not
looking
guilty.
at
Oh, so you don't love it, but you... Sorry, I should rephrase
No.
my question.
I don't know. I've never been in a...
I don't know why you're looking at me. The question came from Jenna, not me.
I'm just.
But I didn't.
I'm just trying to sell to you that
Okay.
don't really know what
Alright.
they're about. It's just the natural UV here in the UK. While I'm so
Yeah.
Where do you originate from, family-wise?
Italian.
Right, so that's what it is,
So
then,
that's
isn't it?
it's olive skin.
Mediterranean.
Yeah,
Mediterranean.
they're vicious
Okay.
rumours.
So, okay.
Where would those rumours have
His
come
nose,
from?
he's covering his
I'm not
nose.
sure.
His nose is growing.
I don't
Not
know.
sure. You don't know who would
There's a
start
lot of
those
rumours
rumours.
going around at the moment. I'm
So
not
if I
sure
went
what's going
into
on.
Stockton Heath,
Yep.
one of the sunbed shops there.
Sun Centre World.
Yeah. It just so
So
happens
do
we
you
went in there.
Do you buy a course of 30? How does it work over here?
I
Because
have no idea.
I
I'm
actually
not
used to
sure.
work in a solarium back in Cronulla.
Yeah. Dunno.
Sunworld. I don't know if
how it
you did you
works.
frequent them back home, or was it just you were able to get to the beach enough? And-
Yeah, I was just down the beach a fair
yeah,
bit.
so you didn't use them back
Yeah,
home.
yeah.
No.
So
It's
I'm not
good.
sure
I
how
mean,
how it goes. We have to call them up and see
Yeah.
what offers they have at the moment.
I'm pretty sure there's a loyalty card knocking around somewhere. Let's get into his wallet. There's a loyalty card. It's stamped out to the max.
Okay, I've got another one.
Oh, you go. Yeah, keep going. You're on a roll.
Paul Vaughan is about to sign a contract
Oh,
extension.
wow.
Maybe he has already.
Hard-hitting questions. There's
Guilty, not guilty.
Oh, well, we'll say guilty. We'll say guilty.
Yeah.
You signed a contract.
Well, I haven't signed it.
It's on the desk.
Wow,
Jeez.
why would you?
Well,
What? No.
Well, you know,
Have
we're
you not
working-
seen what's happened this week?
We're working through a couple of things.
We're working. All right.
No, we're looking to, myself and my family, looking to, see what's about.
What is it about?
Why have
As
you
in-
gone weird? Why have you gone weird about? Have you signed a
No, I
contract?
haven't signed a contract.
But you've
no.
got a contract.
Maybe, I'm not sure.
So
Don't know.
Wait, is this
don't
something
know.
that happened recently? Is there something in question? I mean, what do you mean? So,
I don't know.
Do you know?
There could be a contract on the table. I'm just yet to sign it. That's all.
Okay.
You know.
Never
So,
been more confused.
if I can put it in perspective for you, this is a podcast that's going to go out not Monday coming, but the one after. By that Monday, would that contract have been signed?
Not sure.
No, I'm
Don't
sure.
know.
I'm sure.
I'm
You've
not
got to
sure.
read that
This guy
contract
a
first.
politician?
Got to read through
He
the
doesn't.
contract.
He's got to read through. Nobody reads contracts, Paul. You just sign it when it's there.
Yeah, well,
if you're reading through it, you're already in trouble.
Yeah.
You would never sign it.
We'll have to,
Okay.
yeah.
All
So
right.
that
Well,
was-
good luck with your.
Thanks, mate.
Hope you get a
extension.
contract
Yeah,
and
we'll
you
see what's-
sign
yeah.
that.
So that
Okay,
would be a
great.
5th year here.
Yeah.
You've got a good wife.
Yeah, she's yeah. It was I wouldn't say it was a hard sell, but she still works full time for an Australian company, so she
Right.
does pretty tough hours. So for her to say another year is something that I definitely appreciate.
So she's still working in Australian time
Yeah.
to an extent, not fully, I'd imagine.
So
but
she's getting to bed quite late,
Right.
1 o'clock in the morning.
hard.
So it's difficult for her, but once we go back there, she'll be able to go into a full time gig
Yeah.
and support
if
the family.
you do sign this contract, will it be the final one? Will that be Paul Vaughan, done and dusted?
I don't know.
34, 35?
I don't know, 34. Like I still feel
Great.
great. Physically, I still feel like I'm doing a fair job on the field. So again, I'll probably just have to ask the missus and see what she says if she wants to.
It's quite an important thing, that, because when you come over here, there's partners and families come. And you'll know a bit of this, Jenna. Like, it's important that they retain some identity and not just be a wife and a mother or a father if it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Like, you have to retain some identity, don't you?
Yeah, and that's the thing I appreciate about my wife. She's she works every day. She's always got something to do, and she's doing that for her career post rugby. So it's great for her. She's very ambitious, and she does a great job with what she does for this company. So it's good for her to fall back into something once we finish up here.
Right.
Brilliant.
Excellent. Guilty or not guilty for me is where's the area you're from?
Shell Harbour.
Shell Harbour. Yeah,
and there's
yeah.
a beach there.
There is. Yep.
Lovely beach.
Paul Vaughan has great beach parties. Guilty or not
Beach
guilty?
parties. Never had a beach party.
Oh, my word.
I've never had a beach party.
You had a beach party?
I don't know what you're talking
It's an infamous beach party.
Don't know what you're talking about.
You do know what I'm talking about. Well, just Google it.
Yeah, well.
You'll find out.
You'll find out a lot of things through Google.
Well, please tell us, what would it say if I Googled that? If I turned
It's a really nice house on the beach that I might own there.
Oh, and you were just outside?
Yeah.
Or just outside the house?
Well, there might have been a gathering outside the house. I'm not sure.
It was an impromptu gathering outside the house?
No idea. Not sure. I was inside.
Oh, my word, this guy. What, so you were the party that you were disciplined about having, you were not attending, you were inside?
Was I disciplined for having a party?
I don't know if you were, no.
I'm not sure if I was.
I don't know if you were.
No, I'm not sure. You have to go through the through Google and go through some articles there.
That's too good. It's too good. And how many of those impromptu
As
people
a
were
St
gathered?
George fan, Vonnie,
Allegedly, no.
As a St George
Allegedly,
Maybe
what?
don't know. It was after a great win. I think the boys were hanging about.
It was a spontaneous gathering.
Spontaneous, yeah.
Outside?
Yeah. I'm not
On the
sure.
beach outside your house?
Could have been. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And was there did there happen to be food there?
Not sure.
No?
No.
No drinks?
I mean, I was well fed, but I don't know if any of the other boys were fed.
That's
Okay,
too good, Paul Vaughan. It's too good for me. It's too good for me. It's a well-practiced
I
act.
would like to
I
say,
feel
though,
like I'm getting backed in a corner here.
as
There's a lot
a
going on.
As a St George fan, I was understanding but disappointed.
Yeah.
You're a star.
Played some great
Star.
footy at St George. It was a great club. Played some of my best footy there. So it's very fond memories that I have at the Saints. Wish
Loved
them
it.
well.
You loved it.
Loved it.
Speaking of good form,
Yep.
okay, here's another guilty, not guilty for you.
Yep.
Your best performance in Warrington colours
Yep.
was the Challenge Cup semi-final win against Lee just the other week.
That's a tough one.
that-
Do you think so? What do you think? Because you're
No,
the
year
professional.
one. I'd say year one. There was
Pick a
someone
game in year
real-
one. I mean, really.
Yeah, no, it was between rounds 1 and 27. It was outstanding, wasn't
Pretty
it?
impressive, yeah.
But the semi-final was great.
Yeah, it was good.
You had that right.
I think it was.
Every now and again, the player gets like a look in their eye or a bit between the teeth,
Yeah.
and like you just controlled the game.
Yeah.
Pretty much the intensity of the game, right?
Yeah, well, I think it's an opportunity they don't really want to let pass you by.
Yeah.
For us, obviously, with Wembley last year, it was not the performance that we wanted. It was quite disappointing. So, for me personally, I just wanted to really grab that opportunity and really put a good performance in because. They're hard to get into, aren't they? So if you have a chance at a semi-final, then you want to play the best that you can and leave everything out there. So and it was a great team performance.
Yeah, it was.
So obviously we'll be there in a couple of weeks, and we're very excited for it.
What's your relationship like with Sam? Pre-big game like that.
Yeah, he's. I really look up to Sammy. Like obviously playing against him back home, he was always a tough competitor.
Yeah.
And I love the way he goes about things. So he's had a couple of things that resonated with me before the game, that sort of got me going a little bit. And he's just a great leader of men. So anything that he says, even touching back on the injuries and all that kind of stuff, because he's so calm and he's a cool head. He's easy to follow. So
Was there ever any niggle between you when you played against each other?
Oh no, I stayed far away.
Yeah, well played.
I was on the other. I was in the middle, but I tried to stay far away as I could.
What was it like for you when he got appointed Warrington head coach? Like, what was the feeling for you? Excited?
Yeah, it was excitement, mostly because I just wanted to learn, a few things off him and the way that he based his game on. Physicality and all that kind of stuff. I was pretty excited to have him as a coach, and nothing's changed. I look up to him, and he's a great coach.
Yeah,
Yep.
he is.
We recently had George Williams on the podcast. It was Magic Weekend, wasn't it? And he was saying how, obviously, the start of this year, Warrington were one of the favourites to, go all the way. You can't foresee these injuries that have happened to key players. The goal is still, and there's still belief there, isn't there, that you can go all the way. You can win at Old Trafford. I mean, you've obviously got Wembley ahead of that, but then past Wembley, Super League is still definitely on the cards to win silverware.
Oh yeah, 100%. And like I said before, it's a long season, so there's plenty of time. Obviously, we're not sitting where we want to be sitting at the moment, but even if you look at the ladder, things are so close. So if you string a couple of games together, then you'll be, right back up in the top 6. So it's not panic stations at the moment. We know what we're capable of, and we're keen to show that as well. So.
It's a big sort of 6 weeks for the club in that regard, isn't it?
Yeah, it's massive. It's massive. Just to get a roll on, I think the performances. I mean, last few weeks have been quite tough. Draw for us. We've had a few of the top sides, and it's been quite a tough block. So we just sort of want to get a roll on there and get to Wembley. Obviously, try and win that, and then get a roll on for the rest of the year. Would be great.
When you say tough run, do you mean getting pumped 40-0 by Wakefield, or
depends how you look at it? Yeah,
40-10, I think it was, wasn't it?
Depends how you look at it.
That was one of the tough teams.
That was it. Well,
They're a good team.
Before that, like the block that we had.
Leading up to the pumping by Wakefield last week.
Yeah. It was obviously we didn't foresee that throughout the week. We trained really well and all that kind of stuff, but things just
it's got to be frustrating to go from that semi-final performance into that game against Wakefield.
I think it's quite it's quite a different emotion when you go from a semi-final to such a big game and then going out to Wakey. You have to be really professional to sort of still compete at the highest level there and not sort of switch off and not just be resting on what you've done the week prior. So it was a tough game last week, but again we go again, and we hopefully tonight we can put a good showing out.
What would it mean to you to win at Wembley?
Oh, it'd be massive, just experiencing that week last year with all my family and all that kind of stuff, and seeing how much it means to the boys, and the game and the crowd, the fans, it's madness. So, hopefully, for me personally, it would be great, and that's what we're all striving towards.
Okay, on to our second segment, final segment. Paul, you'll be happy to know you're almost clear. You can almost get away.
A couple more curly ones.
On and off the bench.
Can I start?
On the bench is something you want to see less of in rugby league, in sport, in life. Off it is something you want to inject into the game. You want to see more of.
The bench, get in.
Are you going to?
I'm going to start.
Start an example.
I'm going to off the bench this week. For me, is the sponsorship of the video referees.
So off the bench, something you want to see more of.
I want to see a different sponsor for the video referees' decisions, because the video referee is taking a bit of time, and then on the end of it, we've got a smart meter. Essentially just ticking over, which is agonisingly taking more time.
It's a bit,
and actually, I think it's a contradiction. Smart meters instantaneously tell you how much energy you use. This smart meter is not sure.
No.
And I don't know how many smart meters they're selling off the back of that advertisement.
Yeah.
Do you know if they were selling hardcore liquor off the back of the video ref decisions? I think they'd sell a lot.
100%.
And cigarettes.
It's a good call. Great call.
But I think get rid of the smart meter advert.
Is it just the time that it takes?
I just think, just put a logo up. And that little bit where it's... The point of a smart meter is instantaneously tells you how much energy you're using. That should tell us instantly what the decision is. Plus, we already know what the decision is. It's not a try. And then it's and I find it...
But also, on the other side, it's, for front rowers like me, it's nice to have a bit more of a breather.
But you're getting so much rest. You've never had more rest.
Yeah, it's great. Though, that's the thing.
So you're for the video ref taking as long as it's taking place?
I don't know. It depends. If it's in our favour, sure. But if you're chasing points or if you're up against it,
terrible.
Then it's terrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
This guy needs to go into politics, I'm telling you.
Is that
something
that you will look into when you finish playing eventually?
If the opportunity arises.
Smart meter sales.
We actually recently had Lisa Nandy on our podcast, who is the Secretary of State for DCMS.
Pass on my...
I will, for sure. Also, myself and Brian Carney recently presented a London Broncos...
is this just...
Sorry, what?
What? Go on, carry on.
I am getting to my point.
Right,
If
cool.
you stop
I know, but it just started like you're going through your diary.
Brian Carney and I recently presented... sorry, Paul, are we keeping you from something?
No, I was just watching the game. Sorry. Sorry,
Jenna,
continue.
Anyway, my off the bench, I'll just get to that. My off the bench. So the reason I was saying Australia House, obviously the Australian Consulate in London, presented a London Broncos media launch type thing. So basically the club have launched their first strategic plan into success, really. I want to see more of that. I want to see clubs coming up with these amazing plans. Gary Hetherington is now at the helm of that club, and he has come up with this detailed plan about basically getting London back into the top flight, possibly as early as next year.
I think quite telling is that the London opportunity for the NRL getting involved is exciting. Like the NRL would be really excited to have a
Which is
club in
all
London.
behind this London Broncos launch as well.
Yeah, for sure it is. For sure, it's at Australia House. They had Australian biscuits there. the seducing
Well,
Australian.
no, they
like,
had
MPs.
Lamingtons. He doesn't know what a Lamington is, believe it or not, and he's a baker as well.
I know what a
He thought it was a
Lamington is.
biscuit.
No, it's a sponge.
No,
covered
it's
in
because I
chocolate
had
with
to
coconut
explain
on
to you
it.
what it was.
Yeah, great treat.
Good
exactly.
treat.
Get
You should
fantastic.
maybe get them. Maybe
No,
that's my
if
off
you
the
want a
bench, getting
Lamington,
Lamingtons
you
at your
go
bakery.
to Federal in Manchester. Fantastic.
Yeah. What about pies? You do good steak pies, chunky steak pies? Not really.
It's not our thing, Paul.
Really? Is that right?
No, we do classical French pastry.
Yeah, that's where you've gone wrong, I think.
I don't
Gone wrong.
want.
He
No,
doesn't
no,
know if
no,
he
no,
has
no.
gone wrong.
As an Australian, right? You're obsessed with pies on the end of a bar in
Beautiful.
a hot cabinet,
Beautiful.
aren't you?
Lovely.
Yeah, I just don't trust them. How long have they been there?
Yeah, okay.
I had one and I thought, no, that's been there.
Not for you.
Yeah, not for me.
Okay,
I
Paul,
do
your
like a
turn.
pie.
Off the bench. More of.
I want to see. I think this year, especially the game cycle in the game. I think the game's flowing a lot better this year than it has in the last couple of years, without as many penalties. Last year went a little bit mad with all the head contact and all that kind of stuff. I was involved with a situation last year which involved that, which wasn't great. But I like the way the game flows at the moment. It's more of a battle to see, who's going to crack first, and I think that's, it's just good quality of rugby this year. So that's probably game cycle at the start of the game is probably something that I'd...
So just let it flow.
Let it go.
Let it breathe.
Let it go, and then
Let
you
it
can
breathe.
see, without the leg ups, the penalties, and all that kind of stuff, who's the better team.
Let's keep it like Paul Vaughan on the loo, fast and loose.
Fast and
fast and
A
bit sloppy in patches.
Okay.
a bit sloppy in patches, but mostly solid.
Jon,
Yes.
Jon,
Yeah,
enough. On the bench, something you want to say less of?
On the bench for me is people swearing when they're not really used to swearing.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'll give you an example of, when you...
Clearly that's not you.
No, because swearing is part of my vernacular. Like, I use swear words to make a point. Now, I know they're rude and people don't like them, but sometimes I'm from the north, it helps me articulate a point because I don't have the language. Whereas we had this really articulate guy, a guy who was in charge of the rugby league, came to give us a chat when I was playing for England. And he was telling us a story. He's a former tennis professional. And he was talking to us as a room, and he was saying, when I got to 63rd in the world, I used to look over their net and I used to think, I'm going to beat you. And I thought, it's going to get bleeped out. But my point is that I think swearing is part of culture, right? And we swear, we do, don't we? In the change room,
to give it a little bit more depth.
Yeah, and Sam Burgess would use those words.
Yep.
But if you don't use them, just don't use them.
Yeah.
Don't try hard to communicate with me as a sort of northern guy.
This could be your worst off the bench, and that's saying something because you've had some absolute
Stinkers,
whoppers.
really bad.
I'm still trying to think.
You've made me lose my train of thought. I can't even remember what mine was. It was like, this is such a short program that we've got, and you've just wasted 2 minutes, and now I'm wasting time because I've lost my train of thought.
I reckon we'll just leave it there then. I reckon then we'll finish on that.
Well, has this not been your favourite half an hour?
No, it's been great. I've really
It's been
enjoyed
great.
it.
Have you?
Yeah. I'm a
Not
big fan of you,
answered-
Jon, so
not
I could sit here all day and speak to you, mate.
Not answered any questions. No, I'll say this about Paul Vaughan. From spending this last 30 minutes with him, he knows an awful lot. He's very good at not answering questions. Maybe knows more than he's letting on about certain things, and I respect him for it. Well played.
Well, you can't give it all away, can
No,
you? You've got to leave a little bit of mystery.
Mysteries, yeah.
You really have done that, Paul. Well
Mystery.
done. Well done, you.
It's been outstanding having you on.
Thanks for having me. It's been great.
I'm sure I can see you.
I'll close the door
saying
next
that
time when I'm in the toilet as well.
Please do.
It's just for everyone's,
Yeah, for everyone.
everyone's benefit, I think.
Especially mine.
Yeah.
Paul Vaughan, we hope that you will be back at Wembley.
Yep.
We hope,
Will be, yep.
yeah, that you have success. You
Thank
find
you.
success. We hope that you finally pick up a pen and sign that contract for
Yeah,
another year,
it'll
because
get
it would
there.
be great to have you in Super
It'll
League
get
for
there.
at least another year.
Thank you.
Yeah, Challenge
and
Cup, win the Challenge Cup.
That'd be nice.
Yep.
Yeah, what have you ever won anything?
You know what? I've never won a comp.
State of
State of
Origin.
Origin. We went back to back.
Oh, sorry, with the
I mean, that's sort of that's pretty big.
Well, there's
Get to
nothing
know the
gets...
people that you're interviewing, mate.
No,
We're
no,
great.
no, that was meant. I was meant to ask you about that, but I forgot, didn't I, Jenna?
Yeah,
she
that
said
was great. It was
the career
good.
highlight. So let's talk about that instead of the toilet.
Yeah, no, yeah. Let's get past that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, massive.
Yeah.
Well
State
done.
of
Well
Origin,
done. Well done.
Blues back to back. Was it
Yeah.
2018,
18,
19?
Untouchable
Yeah,
Paul Vaughan,
yeah,
then.
that way, yeah, prime, yeah, vintage.
Vintage.
Yeah, it was.
Vintage
Still
Paul
a good-
Vaughan.
still a good
Vintage Jon Wilkin. Appreciate you, Paul Vaughan.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
watching.
Appreciate it.